Davenport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a really great pleasure to be here to speak both as the Education Critic for the official opposition and also on behalf of the people of my riding of Davenport. I want to start by thanking our healthcare workers and all of the other workers who are fighting COVID-19 on the front line and ensuring that Ontarians get the essential services that they need, and others here have already spoken about that. I also want to acknowledge, though, the incredible work that all Ontarians are doing, whether you're just staying inside or you're caring for your kids and juggling work, or also just finding ways to check in on others. I have noticed myself, and I know many of us in our communities across the province have noticed the incredible work that's happening to support Ontarians and fill in all of those gaps as we see in this crisis the enormous inequities that exist across our communities. We have already had, Mr. Speaker, a year of quite significant uncertainty in education. And now with the threat of COVID-19 and the closure of schools, we know how hard this is for students, for families, and for education workers. Mr. Speaker, I'm hearing from students who are nervous about what this means for the academic year and their prospects for post-secondary education and for the courses they're going to take next year at high school. I spoke this morning with representatives from the Ontario Student Trustees Associations, and they talked about the impact this uncertainty is having on the mental health of students, not to mention, of course, the impact of social isolation and healthcare fears. They're asking for more consistent communication from government and from school boards. Many parents as well, and I know they've reached out to others in this House, have reached out to me with worries about the expectations being placed on them. Are they meant to run a full programmed day school at home? Parents of students with special needs, Mr. Speaker, are left without the resources and frankly the respite they need to support their kids fully. And so many parents are either juggling work from home or worrying about the impact of lost employment on their future and their ability to care for their families. Teachers and education workers, we want to thank you as well. We know that teachers have been keen to adapt and connect with their students, but they're also facing these challenges. There are questions about privacy. There are questions about access to technology and how to best support our students in the home. And they're doing that while they're also juggling the pressures of home life or healthcare issues. I know that many teachers out there and others in our education system are thinking about the one or two students that they have not been able to connect with. And I know how that weighs on them, and I want to thank them for all they're doing. There are also the occasional teachers and the other staff who have lost employment altogether, and the aspiring teachers, as my colleague mentioned previously, who are facing barriers related to the troubling rollout of the math proficiency test. Mr. Speaker, I've appreciated the opportunity to meet with the Minister of Education and have phone briefings and to have raised some of these issues previously. I want to encourage the Minister to continue to listen to parents, to create an opportunity and a space for student voice to also be considered as we move forward. And what is lacking in this legislation, Mr. Speaker, and we will be supporting it as we said, but this is a lost opportunity. We have an opportunity here to actually think a little bit more about what the coming school year is going to mean, the kind of remediation that's going to be necessary and the kind of resources that need to be there for our students. This is essential that we consider this in this moment because there's a lot of work to be done. Our students, our teachers, our families are counting on us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.